I hail from a small town nestled deep in the woods, where the trees seem to whisper secrets and the fog lingers longer than it should. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and the line between the living and the dead feels a bit too thin. My friends and I have been inseparable since childhood, always seeking the next adventure. Max, the daredevil, never met a challenge he wouldn't face head-on. Emily, the meticulous planner, ensured every trip was organized to perfection, though sometimes her over-preparedness felt like she was anticipating something we weren't. Sarah, the free spirit, brought laughter and lightness, even when the shadows seemed to grow longer. And then there's me, the observer, always watching, always listening, capturing our stories, though sometimes I wonder if I should have been paying attention to the ones left untold. Together, we've explored the lakes, rivers, and forests, seeking thrills and escaping the mundane. But this time, as we planned our latest getaway, a strange unease settled over me, a feeling that perhaps some adventures are better left unexplored. We set out for what was supposed to be a relaxing weekend in the woods, 4 friends looking to escape the stress of everyday life. We had no idea that this trip would become a nightmare. The day ended in peaceful silence around the campfire, sharing stories and laughter. But as night fell, something shifted. A streak of bright light cut across the sky, followed by a rumbling crash in the distance. Curiosity pushed us forward, and we decided to venture into the woods to investigate. After trekking for miles, the forest grew denser, the trees pressing in around us. Our flashlights flickered and failed one by one, and our phones died in our pockets. The darkness swallowed us whole, and in that thick blackness, strange sounds emerged. We heard rustling in the trees, movements too deliberate to be animals. It was as if something, or someone, was watching us. One of us shouted out, "Hello?" The reply wasn't human. A clicking whistle echoed from above, sharp and unnatural. It wasn't like anything we'd heard before. Not a bird, not an animal. It was the sound of something that didn't belong. We were terrified, but we kept moving. The air grew colder, the sounds grew louder, closing in from all sides. Panic set in, and we split up, hoping to find safety, or at least escape the forest alive. I ran, heart pounding, trying to follow the faint sounds of my friends' voices. I should have been able to see the campfire by now, the warm glow of the lanterns through the trees. But there was nothing, no fire, just endless trees and the suffocating darkness. Then I heard a scream. It was unmistakable. Sarah! I ran toward the sound, adrenaline pushing me forward. But the closer I got, the farther away it seemed. Until I stumbled upon another clearing. I called out to my friends. "Guys, are you there?" Their voices answered, weak but clear. "We're here. Over here." Relief flooded me. I wasn't alone. I could find them. I could get us all out of here. My exhaustion melted away, replaced by the hope of safety. I followed their voices, pushing through the brush. And then I saw it, a dim, glowing light in the distance. But something was wrong. It wasn't a flashlight. The light was sickly, greenish, pulsing like a heartbeat. The closer I got, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. It didn't feel natural. It felt wrong. I crept closer, the voices of my friends growing louder in the background. But something in the air told me to be cautious. The light flickered erratically, struggling to stay on. When I reached out and touched the source of the light, and my eyes went wide with shock. It wasn't just light. It wasn't a lantern or a fire. It was a craft, a ship, alien in nature. Strange glyphs pulsed along its surface, glowing with an eerie, almost electric energy that made my skin crawl. The ship shimmered in and out, as though it existed on the edge of reality. A low hum vibrated through the air, sending a strange chill through me. The air around it crackled, as though the very atmosphere had been distorted. It was like nothing I had ever seen or could ever imagine. And then I saw them. Figures emerged from the ship, figures that looked like my friends. At first, I thought it was them, but as they came closer, something was horribly wrong. There were no facial expressions. Their eyes were wide open, unblinking. Their mouths didn't move, yet I could hear their voices in my head, clear as day. "We're all here now," Max's voice said, but his face was blank, emotionless. "Come closer," Emily's voice called, but her lips didn't stir. I stepped back. Something wasn't right. Then, the figures began to merge, slowly at first, then faster, like they were blending together, fusing into one, their bodies twisting and shifting unnaturally. My stomach churned. I could see it happening right in front of me, twisting, merging like a grotesque, living puzzle. Above them, a thin blue light appeared, shining down from the sky. I couldn't understand where it came from, but I couldn't look away, until they became a single, large orb floating above the ground. The orb pulsed with a beautiful yet terrifying light. The center of it flickered with that same thin blue beam, twisting and turning, like it was alive in ways I couldn't comprehend. I couldn't breathe. Then, with a sudden burst of light and speed, the orb shot upward, faster than I could process, disappearing into the sky and vanishing into the stars. It moved so fast, it left a trail of light behind it, a streak in the sky that seemed impossible. And then, everything went silent. The forest was still, dead still. The craft was gone. The figures were gone. The pulsating light had vanished. I stood there in the silence, my heart still racing, my mind struggling to make sense of what I had just witnessed. There was no explanation, no answers, only the haunting emptiness of the woods around me. My breath caught in my throat. And then I heard it, just barely, so faint I thought I imagined it. The clicking whistle, a sound like it was coming from somewhere far off in the woods, almost lost in the wind. The silence pressed in again, deeper now, suffocating, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still there. Something was watching me.